In the heart of a village lit only by firelight, a voice begins to weave a story. Children lean closer, their eyes wide, as a griot's voice echoes. Once, there was a spider who could trick gods and men alike. His name was Anansi. But who was this creature who challenged kings, defied spirits, and became the embodiment of human wit? This is the tale of Anansi the trickster. Long before books, before ink and paper, stories lived through voices. Among the Akan people of West Africa, stories were not just entertainment. They were lessons wrapped in laughter, wisdom hidden in wit. And at the center of many of these tales was Kwaku Anansi, a spider, a man, a god, a being who symbolized the complexity of life itself. From Ghana to the Caribbean, his tale survived slavery, colonization, and time itself, reshaped, retold, reborn. But to understand Anansi is to understand why humans love stories, and why sometimes even tricksters can be heroes. The Anansi tales come from the Akan people of present-day Ghana and Ivory Coast, one of Africa's oldest storytelling cultures. The Akan believed that knowledge and wisdom once belonged only to the sky god, Nyame. Anansi, cunning and ambitious, decided he would steal this wisdom and share it with humanity. But Nyame was no fool. He gave Anansi an impossible task: to capture the most dangerous creatures in existence, Onini the python, Osibo the leopard, Moesha the fairy, and the hornets known as Momoboro. Yet Anansi was no warrior. He had no strength, no size, no magic. What he had was wit. One by one, Anansi faces impossible challenges. He found the great python basking under the sun. Pretending to doubt the creature's length, Anansi flattered and teased him until the python agreed to be tied to a stick for proof. As soon as he was bound, Anansi struck. The python's ears faded beneath his laughter. Next came the leopard, Osibo. The spider dug a deep pit in the jungle, covered it with leaves, and lured the beast to fall inside. When Osibo begged for help, Anansi offered a vine, only to tie him up completely. Strength? None. Strategy? Endless. Then came the fairy, Moesha, who lived deep in the forest. Anansi carved a doll from wood, covered it in sticky sap, and offered it food. When the fairy grew angry at the doll's silence and struck it, she became trapped. Another victory for the spider. Finally, the hornets. Anansi poured water over their nest and shouted, "Look, the rain has come." Then, pretending to help, he offered them a gourd for shelter. When they all flew inside, he sealed it shut. With each capture, the world tilted. The weak overcame the mighty. The clever triumphed over the cruel. And when Anansi brought them before Nyame, the sky god laughed and declared, "From this day, all stories shall belong to you, Anansi, and to humankind." But not all Anansi's tales were victories. Sometimes his greed turned against him. Once, he tried to hoard all the world's wisdom in a pot, tying it to his belly and climbing a tree to hide it. Yet each time he climbed, the pot got in the way. His young son, watching, said, "Father, why not tie it to your back instead?" In that moment, Anansi realized, even with all the world's wisdom, one can still be foolish. In anger and embarrassment, he dropped the pot and the wisdom spilled across the world. That, the storytellers say, is why no one person can ever possess all knowledge. From Ghana to Jamaica, from Suriname to the American South, enslaved Africans carried Anansi's stories across the ocean. He became Anansi in the Caribbean, Aunt Nancy in the American South, a symbol of resistance, survival, and clever rebellion. For those who had no power, Anansi reminded them, wit could still conquer might. Every tale whispered hope, that even the smallest voice could outsmart giants. Anansi's web stretches far beyond myth. It connects generations, lands, and hearts. It teaches us that wisdom, laughter, and cunning are weapons of survival. So the next time you tell a story, remember, somewhere in the unseen corners of your words, Anansi is listening. Because the spider never dies. He simply waits for the next story to begin.